This is Served with me, Andy Roddick. Please hit subscribe. We drop new episodes every week. Every time I think I'm like, you go into Wimbledon, I'm like, Iga can make a run here. No. And then when I'm like, I'm really worried about Iga, guess what she does?
Oh, she wins.
She wins. Yeah, I was worried about her before Wimbledon last year, and then she won Wimbledon. Was borderline dominant at times up in Canada, beats Rybakina in the finals, 2-3. And Mike, she basically just said I had some rest.
Yeah.
Novel idea.
Yeah. She lost to Iala in the third round of Wimbledon and was forced to have a little bit of time off. And she said afterwards, we had like 2 weeks, I would say, and then I came to Toronto. And the work that we've done there for sure was a key to play better at this tournament and to play a game that is more patient.
I like that. I mean, it's a weird thing. And JW, I want to get your thoughts on this, but I remember a couple of years ago when Iga decided to kind of be more aggressive and take the ball early and had success doing it, right? But this isn't a straight line. Like, you're always changing. What you started doing 4 years ago with some success isn't what you can do 4 years later always, right? I was impressed because she made that adjustment and it started working right away. And I said, that's not really the way it always goes. But then it's almost like that was her default mechanism, right? What you could feel when she hasn't been playing well, it feels like she wasn't building points, right? She wasn't going to say, she didn't have that, I guess, second option, or had forgotten about it of, oh, I'm fast. I have a lot of spin on my forehand. I'm going to make someone just play a million balls to beat me today. And it felt like she kind of got away from that a little bit, seemingly by her own admission, got back to that a little bit in Canada, JW.
Yeah, this kind of came out of nowhere and kind of didn't. And I wonder if she talks so much about her mental game. I wonder if she can't just internalize the fact that, yes, there will be some tournaments, even some stretches of the season she'll be off. And then she knows she has it in her to turn it back on. I'm always interested, she talks about these adjustments. And remember with you a year ago, she talked about adjustments on serve. I don't know how many people that watch her matches, I don't mean casual fans, I mean hardcore tennis fans, saw some of the adjustments that she talks about. So sometimes I think she has the whipping forehand, but there's not enough of an option B, and she tries to bring her clay court game to other surfaces. And I think she thinks that she is doing more than might meet the eye. And sometimes it works. Sometimes we've seen her fade. And at other times we've seen her just catch gears. And that's what happened in Canada. And again, I think this is something we talk about a lot on this podcast in general, especially in this climate. It doesn't take much to get back up and running. So yeah, here's what she was. She was in danger of leaving the top 10, and now all of a sudden you could make a very credible case. Especially, we should timestamp this. She's played one match in Cincinnati, and I think she lost 2 or 3 games. You could make a case that in a very short amount of time, she's gone from a fading player risking a double-digit ranking to, you could make a very credible case she might be a U.S. Open favorite, a tournament she's won already. But I think, with Iga, she talks about this openly. A lot of this is mental, it's confidence, it's state of mind. Here's a player who dedicated her first tournament win of the year to people confronting haters. I thought that was a glimpse, a portal into what she's going through. But the tennis, if it's not there, it can be there. And I think if she can internalize that, she remains a very dangerous player. And I also think, can we just, 25 years old? This is a veteran in a lot of ways. This is an established player. She could retire tomorrow and it's a great career, but there's a lot of runway here ahead. So all of a sudden, in a very short amount of time, Iga has sort of played herself back to Iga levels.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that last point. 25 years old, not a good career. 6 Grand Slams, a Hall of Fame, first ballot. You laugh at the fact that you actually have to check yes or no as a voter, because it's obviously a yes. There's no conversation about it. The other thing is, when she gets momentum, is there a better front runner in women's tennis when she gets on the front foot and starts winning matches 2-1 and 0-2 and 2-3 in finals? She has that gear where, when all is right, and I think at this point in her career, I think it's more mental than physical, feeling like you're playing the game, making the right decisions. Maybe you're not overthinking. Maybe it becomes an instinct as opposed to a thought. I don't know. I mean, your point on the U.S. Open is a good one. If she has a good tournament here in Cincy, it's tough to turn off the Iga faucet once it gets flowing.
Yeah. I can I ask you a question about score lines? Because I think that's relevant too, but maybe I'm reading too much into it. I always like it when a player sort of goes back and forth, even in a match. You know, a 6-0-7-6 to me is a great score line, right? You're cruising, you're in the zone, you're playing well, and then you've got a battle and you get through. And look at Iga's, I don't have it in front of me, but I think her last 4 matches in Canada, like 2 of them were 3-set. These are all against great players, like a tough draw. Two of them were real grind outs, like 3-set battles. And then she beats Rybakina 2 and 3. And you sort of say, it's not just that she won those matches, but some of them she had to battle, others were in the zone. I think that was a really, really strong tournament for her beyond the fact that she walked away with the title.
I have to imagine that if you're in Iga's camp, to your point, JW, it's about the perfect tournament. Maybe not perfect all the way through, like when she wins a Roland Garros and, or wins a Wimbledon final 0-0 after winning a semi 2 and whatever, like barely giving up games. But as far as this moment in time, maybe searching for something, maybe not winning that many close matches this year, and then winning those close matches and then being dominant and then having a couple days and then going into Cincinnati. I think this is just what you would have ordered if you could kind of have Iga on demand capabilities. I think it was a fantastic week for her. It seems like she's getting some clarity. I simply like what she said when we opened this. Sometimes you got to make balls, right? I always got criticized, or I felt like I got criticized a lot for, he came out the U.S. Open, he's playing too far behind the baseline. Even when I would win matches, I remember coming off of a 6-week injury, and I actually got in a fight with Chris Fowler on air, who I now work with. Because all I could hear in the commentary was, he's not playing up on the baseline. I'm like, guys, I haven't played a match in 6 weeks. I have no confidence. I'm searching for everything. And you want me to come and try to just start lacing winners, right? That's like someone not shooting a basketball for 4 months and then pulling up from 30 feet. Like that has to be gained, right? So sometimes you have to make balls, go back to basics, make someone beat you. And then all of a sudden, like Iga, you find yourself in a final and the winners are happening. They're not being hit, right? By virtue of you kind of putting in the hard yards and winning some matches that aren't perfect or aren't the way that you would draw it up, aren't the best matches you've ever played, but those grinding wins create the best matches that you've ever played, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and just to preface this, we're recording this on a Monday. She played on Sunday, and she won 3-0, and then she's playing Maria Sakkari today at 11. So after we record, or right now. So
we'll give you the update at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.